Immigration rules hinder recruitment, say employers. Employers are currently complaining. If you remember about this time last year, the UK government changed the rules that if you're coming to the UK as a care worker on code 6135 and code 6136, you cannot come with dependents. Now, this has impacted the health sector negatively. And I think with this, the government may look into it because the health sector now is currently suffering. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fajira. If you're seeing this beautiful face for the very first time, I'm so happy to have you all in our beautiful family. For my returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. I really do appreciate. God bless you. And if you're new to this channel, I create content on UK immigration updates. I'm about to share one right now. Jobs and visa sponsorship in the UK, scholarships in the UK, live in the UK, like everything you can think about the UK. So if you're someone who is interested in such content, do hit on that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, so each time I upload a new video, you're going to be the very first person to see that video. Let's quickly dive right into today's video. Just as you can see, the care industry is one of the several sectors that rely on workers from overseas, but it's ones that visa restrictions are making recruitment hard. A lot of care sectors rely on recruiting overseas workers to the UK because in most cases, when employers recruit healthcare workers from overseas to work in the UK, they say they stay with them for a longer time rather than recruiting someone who is already in the UK. They could just wake up and change their jobs. And now we know how important the healthcare sector is. It's a very important sector in the UK that is always in need of workers. So in every year, you can see that there are shortages in the healthcare sector. Employers are beginning to complain about the new rules because the new rules has impacted the sector negatively, but maybe it has impacted the UK immigration positively. As you can see, employers say attempts to reduce legal migration to the UK are deterring people from coming to work in Norfolk and making it hard for them to recruit the right staff. Now, a year after the last government stopped overseas healthcare workers bringing dependents with them, immigration numbers are starting to come down. 10 years after overseas workers were made to pay upfront to use the NHS, two world-leading laboratories warn the move is deterring people from applying for jobs and increasing their costs. But we know if you're coming as a care worker, you are exempt from paying IHS. According to the Home Office, 1.2 million people arrived in the UK last year. More than 90% of them legally after applying for permission to work or study. The 2023 figure was about 1.2 million, while the 2022 figure was 1 million. According to Information Service, Norfolk Insight, 5,300 migrants came to Norfolk in 2019, with the numbers coming to Britain doubling over the last 5 years. The Conservative introduced various measures to cope with illegal migration, including an NHS surcharge in 2015 and a ban on students and care workers bringing their dependents with them. But like I said, this has impacted the sector negatively and they are already crying out. Ash Single runs 6 care homes in Norfolk. He says that despite trying to recruit local people, 70% of this staff come from overseas. Like I earlier mentioned, a lot of care workers come from overseas. This is not me saying that there are no care workers within the UK, but when it comes to employees that stays longer in any care sector, most of them are those that came from overseas and are on visa because of you have to stay on the skilled worker visa for 5 years to be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain. So what most people do is they stay with that company, they stay with that organization, irrespective of what it is, to make sure that they get their indefinite leave to remain, and they now move to another organization. So a lot of employers are saying that they found out that the people who came from overseas stays longer with them compared to those who already have their papers that could work in any organization, which to me, I think is true as well. So this employer is saying he has to pay £239, which from April is going to increase to £530 for a certificate of sponsorship for every person he recruits from abroad, and a skilled immigration surcharge of £364 for every year they are here. The skills immigration surcharge is what is added to the certificate of sponsorship. So if they are staying for a year, they pay only £364. If it's for 2 years, it increases just like that. They times the £364 to the number of years they are issuing the COS, and they pay this to home. For those that said, have paid for my certificate of sponsorship for 12,000, 3,000 pounds, at the end of the day, what goes to home office is about 2,500 or thereabout, depending on the years. You have to be wise about that. He says the ban on dependence has been the most damaging. The good caliber people that we were recruiting from hospitals and nursing colleges overseas now don't want to come to the United Kingdom. He said a lot are looking at Australia, Canada, US, and so on. Instead, they will go to other more welcome nations where they can take their families. Like, even if it were me, I wouldn't want to leave my family behind, to be honest. But another thing you could do, like I always say, you can come here on your own, because coming with a family from the start is not easy. You can find that from those that actually came with their wife or their husband and children at the same time. The stress is real, because you have to look for accommodation, and some landlords will want you to pay a deposit of up to 6 months. Some will say they need a guarantor, and not everybody wants to sign that guarantor form because they are not sure if you will end up paying the rent. And what happens when you don't pay the rent? The guarantor you use is the one that will be held responsible for the rent you have refused to pay, which has made a lot of people, especially from the Black community, not to sign guarantor forms, because some people have come and they have refused to pay their rent and they were held responsible for the rent. So one of the things you can do, like I always say, you can come on the 6135 or 6136, and within 6 months or maybe a year, you sort yourself, see if you can get the 6131 that allows dependents, and you bring your dependent. But a lot of people are not really that patient, and some people really do not even know how to look for jobs with NHS or any care organization that offers 6131. He said what we are asking people to do is to come here to work and not have the right to a family life, which is true. They may have a husband or a wife back home with children, and they are not allowed to see them. How is that not a tantamount to modern day slavery? If we want growth, we need people. All around the world, developed nations are dependent on a migrant workforce to grow their economy, and we have no difference. We are getting a grip on the chaos we inherited. But former Conservative Minister and ex-Kobe MP Tom Cosgrove, who oversaw some of the new rule changes, said the public wanted to see a cut in the number of people coming into the country. Now, I announced a plan to bring the number down, he said. The number were coming down month on month. The Home Office has been approached for comment, but the new immigration minister suggested Labour would stick with the policies of the last government. So Labour came to meet the policy of the last government of not bringing dependents as care workers and also as a student. Now they are also saying that Labour is going to stick with that they are not even thinking of changing the rules, irrespective of what is happening in the healthcare sector. Dame Angela Igo told the BBC that we are going to get it down by tightening up visas and ensuring labour shortages are provided for with skills training for people who are already here. You can imagine, employers are crying, employers are complaining, but the Labour Party have said that to carry on from where Conservatives stop. So to be honest, I don't really know what is going to happen, but this is something that I think the government may look into it, because employers are not actually getting the right candidates in the health sector. Then they will have to think of a plan B. We don't know what is going to be the outcome. This was just published recently. Let's see if the government is going to do anything. But as earlier mentioned, not coming with your dependent for a start. I know how difficult that can be. I know how difficult it is. But if you can manage it for 6 to 1 year and sort yourself, make sure you get an accommodation. Hopefully you get a COS on 6131, which a lot of care homes are beginning to have access to that 6131. Then you can now come with your dependents. If it is the UK you really want to migrate to, at the same time, you can start looking out for other countries, maybe Australia, Canada. But the UK made it very easy, and from my findings, it's still very easy to migrate to the UK on the care visa compared to other countries. So it's not my decision to make. That's left to you to decide if you want to start chasing other countries. But from what it is, I think the government may look into this soon. We don't know when. Of course, the new rule is working very well in trying to cut down net migration. But how about the health sector? So they will look at it and balance it, and maybe in the future they will review it and think of what next. But for now, this is what it is. Not only this employer, other employers are complaining, and the government is hearing them. But like you saw on the publication that the Labour Party have said they are going to stick to it, they are also going to make sure that they tighten the visa rules, whereas we still have people coming to the UK illegally. So let's see what is going to come out of this. But do not give up. Like I would always say, if it is the UK you want to migrate to, you can still migrate to the UK, even with your dependent. But you can come first, and later on your dependents can join you when you've sorted yourself. And I wish you good luck. Your job search, your interview, your visa application, and successful relocation to the UK. So guys, this brings us to the end of today's video, and I hope you find this video helpful. And if you do find it helpful, please do like and share with your friends and loved ones. I'm sure they will also find it helpful as well. Do subscribe and turn on the notification bell just in case you haven't joined our beautiful family. Until I see you in my next video, guys, do take care and have a lovely day. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.